Welcome back to Second Chance Histories, where we explore the extraordinary moments that challenge our understanding of healing, dedication, and the mysterious ways that love for others can transcend the boundaries we think separate life from death. Today's story takes us to the intensive care unit of General Memorial Hospital in Chicago, where patients on the verge of death began reporting encounters with a compassionate doctor who appeared during their darkest hours to provide comfort and life-saving medical interventions. But when hospital administrator Lisa Chen tried to identify this mysterious physician, she discovered something impossible. The doctor patients described in perfect detail had died in the line of duty 15 years earlier, yet somehow, he was still saving lives every night. This is the story of the Midnight Visitor, where one man's dedication to healing proved so profound that not even death could stop him from answering the call of patients who needed him most. Lisa Marie Chen had been the night administrator at General Memorial Hospital for 8 years, a position that required her to oversee all non-medical operations during the critical overnight hours when the hospital ran with reduced staff but faced some of its most challenging cases. Lisa was known for her meticulous attention to detail and her ability to spot patterns that others missed. She maintained comprehensive databases tracking everything from patient satisfaction scores to staff efficiency metrics, and she had developed an almost supernatural ability to identify problems before they became crises. "Lisa sees things the rest of us don't notice," said Dr. Michael Rodriguez, the head of the emergency department. "She can look at data and spot trends that help us improve patient care in ways we never considered." Lisa's analytical approach had led to numerous improvements in hospital operations over the years. She had identified scheduling patterns that reduced wait times, discovered supply chain inefficiencies that were costing the hospital thousands of dollars monthly, and developed protocols that significantly improved patient satisfaction scores. But in late 2019, Lisa began noticing something in the patient feedback reports that didn't fit any pattern she had ever encountered. Patients in the intensive care unit were consistently reporting encounters with a doctor who wasn't listed on any shift schedule, wasn't included in their treatment teams, and whom none of the nursing staff could identify. The first report that caught Lisa's attention came from Mrs. Eleanor Patterson, a 73-year-old woman who had been admitted to the ICU after suffering complications from routine surgery. Mrs. Patterson's feedback form included a glowing review of her medical care, but mentioned a doctor who hadn't been part of her documented treatment. "I want to especially thank Dr. Williams," Mrs. Patterson had written. "He visited me during the night when I was feeling scared and hopeless. He sat with me and explained exactly what was happening with my recovery. He made me feel like I was going to be okay when I thought I was dying. I don't know what would have happened without his kindness." Lisa checked Mrs. Patterson's medical records thoroughly. There was no Dr. Williams listed among her attending physicians, consulting specialists, or anyone else involved in her care. Lisa assumed it was a simple mistake. Perhaps Mrs. Patterson had confused the name of one of her actual doctors due to medication effects or the disorienting nature of intensive care. But similar reports began appearing with increasing frequency. Over the course of 3 months, Lisa documented 17 separate instances of ICU patients praising the exceptional care they had received from Dr. Williams, a physician who appeared to have no official connection to General Memorial Hospital. The descriptions were remarkably consistent. Patients described Dr. Williams as a man in his early 50s with graying hair, kind eyes, and an exceptionally gentle bedside manner. They all mentioned his ability to explain complex medical conditions in ways that were easy to understand, his patience in answering questions, and his remarkable skill at providing comfort during moments of fear and crisis. Most significantly, several patients credited Dr. Williams with life-saving interventions that occurred during overnight hours when their conditions had taken unexpected turns for the worse. Lisa's concern grew when she realized that the patients reporting encounters with Dr. Williams were consistently those who had experienced unexpected recoveries from critical conditions. The correlation was too strong to be coincidental. She decided to investigate systematically, beginning with interviews of the nursing staff who worked overnight shifts in the ICU. "I've been working nights in this ICU for 12 years, said Jennifer Martinez, the head night nurse. "I know every doctor who has privileges at this hospital, and I've never worked with anyone named Dr. Williams. But I have to tell you, Lisa, there have been nights when patients who were deteriorating rapidly somehow stabilized overnight, and in the morning they talked about a doctor who had helped them through the crisis." Jennifer's colleague, nurse Patricia Santos, had similar observations. "There have been several times when I've checked on critical patients and found them much more stable than expected, and they always mention this Dr. Williams. I assumed it was confusion from their medications, but the descriptions are always so detailed and specific." Lisa expanded her investigation to include the security department, hoping that surveillance footage might provide some clues about the mysterious doctor's identity. Security Supervisor James Thompson reviewed months of overnight footage from the ICU corridors and patient rooms, but found no evidence of any physician matching the patient's descriptions of Dr. Williams. "It's the strangest thing," Thompson told Lisa. "The patients are describing someone who spent significant time with them, but our cameras don't show anyone who fits that description entering or leaving their rooms during the times they mention." Lisa's investigation took an unexpected turn when she decided to search the hospital's employment records for any physician named Williams who might have worked at General Memorial in the past. What she discovered in the hospital's archived personnel files would change everything she thought she knew about the mysterious midnight visitor. Dr. Robert James Williams had indeed worked at General Memorial Hospital as the head of the intensive care unit from 1998 until his death in 2005. His personnel file contained a photograph that matched exactly the descriptions patients had been providing of their mysterious nighttime doctor. According to his employment records, Dr. Williams had been legendary among both staff and patients for his exceptional bedside manner, his ability to explain complex medical conditions in understandable terms, and his dedication to spending time with critical patients during overnight hours when they were most frightened and vulnerable. "Dr. Williams was the best ICU physician I ever worked with," read one performance evaluation from 2003. "His patients consistently showed better outcomes than statistical averages, and I believe this is due to his extraordinary ability to provide emotional support during medical crises. He has an almost supernatural ability to know when patients need his presence." The file also contained dozens of thank you letters from patients and families praising Dr. Williams for his compassionate care during critical medical situations. But the most shocking discovery was the circumstances of Dr. Williams's death. According to the incident report, Dr. Williams had died on October 15, 2005. While working an overnight shift in the ICU. He had suffered a massive heart attack at 3:17 a.m. while checking on a patient who was experiencing complications from cardiac surgery. Dr. Williams collapsed in room 314 while monitoring a patient's recovery from emergency cardiac procedures, the report stated. Despite immediate resuscitation efforts by the overnight medical team, Dr. Williams was pronounced dead at 3:52 a.m. His last act was adjusting the patient's medication dosage to stabilize their condition. The patient Dr. Williams had been treating when he died had made a full recovery. As Lisa absorbed this information, she realized that patients had been reporting encounters with Dr. Williams for the past 15 years, the entire period since his death. The mysterious midnight visitor who had been comforting frightened patients and providing life-saving medical interventions was a physician who had died while performing exactly those same duties. Lisa expanded her investigation to include patient records from the years immediately following Dr. Williams's death. What she discovered was a consistent pattern of patients reporting encounters with a compassionate doctor who matched Dr. Williams's description exactly, always during overnight hours, always during moments of medical crisis, and always resulting in improved patient outcomes. The pattern had continued uninterrupted for 15 years, with patients consistently describing the same physician who had died in 2005 while trying to save a patient's life. Lisa found herself facing two possibilities, both of which challenged her rational understanding of how hospitals operated. Either there was a very real doctor impersonating the deceased Dr. Williams with extraordinary skill and dedication, or somehow Dr. Williams was continuing to care for ICU patients 15 years after his death. Lisa's investigation took on new urgency when the hospital admitted Mr. David Thompson, a 58-year-old man who had suffered a massive heart attack and was not expected to survive the night. Mr. Thompson's condition was so critical that his family had been called to say their goodbyes. Dr. Rodriguez, the emergency department head, had exhausted all conventional treatment options, and Mr. Thompson's vital signs continued to deteriorate despite maximum medical intervention. At 2:30 a.m., Mr. Thompson went into cardiac arrest. The overnight medical team worked frantically to resuscitate him, but after 20 minutes of CPR and defibrillation attempts, they were preparing to declare him dead when his heart rhythms suddenly returned to normal. More remarkably, Mr. Thompson's overall condition began to stabilize rapidly. His blood pressure normalized, his oxygen levels improved, and his cardiac function showed unexpected improvement. When Mr. Thompson regained consciousness the following morning, his first words were about the doctor who had saved his life during the night. "I need to thank Dr. Williams," Mr. Thompson told his nurse. "He was with me when I thought I was dying. He held my hand and told me I still had work to do in this world. He did something to help my heart start working again." Mr. Thompson provided a detailed description of Dr. Williams that matched exactly the accounts Lisa had been documenting for months, as well as the photograph in Dr. Williams's personnel file. Dr. Rodriguez was baffled by Mr. Thompson's recovery and his insistence that an unknown doctor had provided life-saving treatment. David Thompson should not have survived that cardiac arrest, Dr. Rodriguez confided to Lisa. "We had exhausted all our resuscitation protocols, and his heart had been stopped for over 20 minutes. By all medical standards, he should have died or suffered severe brain damage from oxygen deprivation." But Mr. Thompson had not only survived, he had recovered more completely than anyone had thought possible. His cardiac function was better than it had been before his heart attack, and he showed no signs of brain damage despite the extended period without heartbeat. Most remarkably, Dr. Rodriguez continued, David insists that someone made specific adjustments to his 4 medications during the night that helped stabilize his condition. But our nursing records don't show any medication changes, and no physician on duty last night made those adjustments. Lisa realized that Mr. Thompson's case represented the same pattern she had been documenting for months, patients experiencing unexplained medical improvements during encounters with the mysterious Dr. Williams. Lisa decided to interview Mr. Thompson extensively about his experience with Dr. Williams, hoping to gather more detailed information about the mysterious physician. "Dr. Williams appeared when I was in the worst pain I've ever experienced," Mr. Thompson explained. "I thought I was dying and I was terrified. But he sat down beside my bed and started talking to me in this calm, reassuring voice." Mr. Thompson described a conversation that had lasted over an hour, during which Dr. Williams had explained exactly what was happening with his heart condition, discussed his treatment options, and provided emotional support during his moment of greatest fear. "He told me about his own experience as a heart patient," Mr. Thompson continued. "He said he understood what I was going through because he had faced his own cardiac crisis. He made me feel like I wasn't alone in fighting for my life. Most significantly, Mr. Thompson described Dr. Williams making specific medical interventions that had stabilized his condition. He adjusted something in my foreline and changed the dosage on one of my medications, Mr. Thompson said. He explained that the standard protocol wasn't quite right for my particular condition and that a small adjustment would help my heart respond better to the treatment. When Lisa checked Mr. Thompson's medical records, she found that his medication dosages had indeed been changed during the night, but there was no documentation of who had made the changes or why. Lisa expanded her investigation to include interviews with hospital staff who had worked with Dr. Williams before his death in 2005. Dr. Patricia Chen, who had been a resident under Dr. Williams's supervision, remembered him as an extraordinary physician and teacher. Dr. Williams had this ability to connect with patients during their most vulnerable moments, Dr. Chen recalled. He would spend hours with critical patients, not just monitoring their medical condition, but providing the kind of emotional support that seemed to help them heal faster. Dr. Chen also remembered Dr. Williams's dedication to working overnight shifts because he believed that was when patients needed the most support. Robert always said that 3 a.m. was when people felt most alone and frightened in the hospital, Dr. Chen said. He made it his mission to be there for patients who were facing their darkest hours. He saved countless lives not just through medical skill, but through compassion. Jennifer Martinez, the head night nurse, had worked closely with Dr. Williams during his final years at the hospital. Dr. Williams was the most dedicated physician I've ever worked with, Jennifer said. He would come in on his nights off if he heard that a patient was struggling. He couldn't stand the thought of someone suffering alone. Jennifer also remembered the night Dr. Williams died. He had been checking on Mr. Patterson, who was recovering from emergency heart surgery, Jennifer recalled. Robert noticed that the patient's condition was deteriorating, and he was adjusting medications to try to stabilize him when he suddenly collapsed. Even while he was dying, he was trying to save another patient's life. Lisa requested a comprehensive review of security footage from the past 6 months, focusing specifically on the times when patients had reported encounters with Dr. Williams. The security analysis revealed something that deepened the mystery rather than solving it. We can see patients talking to someone in their rooms during the times they claim Dr. Williams visited them, Security Supervisor Thompson reported. The patients are clearly engaged in conversations, responding to questions, and interacting with someone we can't see on camera. The footage showed patients like Mr. Thompson appearing to listen to explanations, asking questions to an invisible presence, and even reaching out as if someone was holding their hand. It's like they're having detailed medical consultations with someone who isn't visible to our cameras, Thompson continued. The patient's behavior is completely consistent with their reports of spending time with a caring physician, but we can't see anyone else in the room. The security review also revealed that the patient's vital signs, which were monitored continuously, consistently improved during the times they reported being with Dr. Williams. Dr. Rodriguez conducted a statistical analysis of patient outcomes for ICU cases over the past 15 years, comparing patients who had reported encounters with Dr. Williams to those who had not. The results were extraordinary. Patients who reported interactions with Dr. Williams had a survival rate 34% higher than patients with similar conditions who had not reported such encounters. They also had shorter average stays in intensive care, required fewer follow-up procedures, and reported significantly higher satisfaction with their hospital experience. From a purely medical standpoint, Dr. Rodriguez concluded, whatever is happening with these Dr. Williams encounters is having a measurably positive effect on patient outcomes. Whether the explanation is psychological, spiritual, or something else entirely, the healing effects are undeniable. The correlation was strongest for patients experiencing cardiac conditions, Dr. Williams's area of specialty before his death. Lisa presented her findings to the hospital's board of directors, expecting skepticism about her investigation into a deceased physician who appeared to be continuing his medical practice. Instead, she found that the board was primarily interested in understanding how to support and encourage whatever was happening, rather than debunking or stopping it. From our perspective, said board chairman Dr. James Patterson, if patients are experiencing better outcomes and higher satisfaction because they feel supported by a caring physician, regardless of the explanation for that physician's presence, then we want to understand how to create more opportunities for that kind of healing. The board approved Lisa's request to establish a formal study of the Dr. Williams phenomenon, working with researchers from the University of Chicago to document and analyze the ongoing encounters. Dr. Sarah Martinez, a researcher specializing in consciousness and healing, led the scientific investigation into the Dr. Williams cases. Over 6 months, Dr. Martinez's team documented 23 separate encounters between ICU patients and the mysterious physician. In each case, patients provided detailed, consistent descriptions of Dr. Williams and reported significant emotional and medical benefits from their interactions with him. What we're observing defies conventional explanation, Dr. Martinez reported. Patients are having meaningful, therapeutic interactions with someone who appears to have detailed knowledge of their medical conditions and the ability to provide both emotional support and practical medical guidance. The research team used advanced monitoring equipment to measure patients' physiological responses during reported encounters with Dr. Williams. The data showed that patients experienced significant improvements in heart rate variability, stress hormone levels, and immune system markers during these interactions. Whatever is happening during these encounters is creating optimal conditions for healing, Dr. Martinez concluded. The patients' bodies are responding as if they are receiving the highest quality medical and emotional support. As word of the Dr. Williams study spread throughout the medical community, other hospitals began reporting similar phenomena, deceased physicians continuing to provide care to patients who needed their particular expertise. Seattle General Hospital documented cases of patients reporting encounters with Dr. Margaret Foster, a pediatric oncologist who had died in 1998 but continued to comfort children with cancer during their most difficult treatments. Boston Medical Center identified patterns of surgical patients receiving visits from Dr. Anthony Martinez, a trauma surgeon who had died in 2003 but appeared to be providing preoperative counseling to patients facing dangerous procedures. The Dr. Williams case isn't unique, Dr. Martinez explained. We're finding evidence of similar phenomena at hospitals across the country. It appears that physicians who were exceptionally dedicated to their patients sometimes continue to provide care even after their physical deaths. For Lisa Chen, the investigation into Dr. Williams had transformed her understanding of her role as a hospital administrator. I started this investigation thinking I was going to solve a case of mistaken identity or medical record errors, Lisa reflected. Instead, I discovered that healing happens in ways that our conventional understanding of medicine can't fully explain. Lisa had implemented new protocols at General Memorial to encourage and document encounters between patients and caring presences, whether those presences could be conventionally explained or not. Our job is to create conditions where patients can heal, Lisa explained. If that healing involves interactions with deceased physicians who continue to care about their patients, then our responsibility is to support those interactions rather than dismiss them. 15 years after his death, Dr. Robert Williams continues to visit ICU patients at General Memorial Hospital. The encounters follow the same pattern they have for over a decade, appearing to patients in crisis, providing medical and emotional support, and contributing to unexplained improvements in patient outcomes. The hospital has stopped trying to explain or control the phenomenon, choosing instead to document it and learn from it. Dr. Williams represents something we don't fully understand about dedication to healing, said Dr. Rodriguez. Whether he's still somehow present in the hospital or whether patients are accessing some form of healing energy that he embodied, the result is the same. People are getting better in ways that go beyond conventional medicine. Recent patients like Mrs. Helen Foster, who recovered from complications after surgery, continue to report detailed encounters with Dr. Williams. "He sat with me all night when I was afraid I might die," Mrs. Foster said. "He explained everything that was happening with my recovery and made me feel like I had a reason to fight to get better. I don't care if people think it's impossible. I know what I experienced, and it saved my life." The University of Chicago's ongoing study of the Dr. Williams phenomenon has contributed to growing research into what scientists call healing presence and its effects on patient recovery. Dr. Williams appears to represent the ideal of what a healing physician should be, Dr. Martinez explained. Whether patients are encountering his actual presence or accessing their own healing resources through the archetype he represents, the medical benefits are measurable and remarkable. The research has led to changes in medical education, with schools teaching future physicians about the importance of emotional support and presence in the healing process. Dr. Williams's legacy teaches us that advanced medical technology is only part of healing, said Dr. Lisa Chen, who now directs medical student training at General Memorial. Patients also need to feel cared for, understood, and supported. The physicians who learn to provide that kind of presence create the most effective healing environments. Today, General Memorial Hospital's ICU continues to experience some of the best patient outcomes in the region, with survival rates and satisfaction scores that exceed national averages. Whether those results are influenced by the ongoing presence of Dr. Robert Williams, the hospital's commitment to compassionate care, or some combination of both, patients continue to benefit from an environment where healing extends beyond traditional medical intervention. Dr. Williams's dedication to his patients proved so profound that even death couldn't stop him from answering the call of people who needed comfort during their darkest hours. His story reminds us that the most powerful medicine isn't always found in prescription bottles or surgical procedures. Sometimes it's found in the simple act of a caring person sitting beside someone who is afraid and making them feel less alone. The Midnight Visitor teaches us that healing is relational, reflects Lisa Chen. Patients recover faster when they feel truly cared for, when someone takes the time to explain what's happening to them, and when they believe that their suffering matters to someone else. Dr. Williams provided that kind of care when he was alive, and somehow he continues to provide it now. Whether Dr. Williams's continued presence represents a supernatural phenomenon, a psychological manifestation of ideal healing care, or something beyond current scientific understanding, his impact continues to save lives and comfort patients 15 years after his death. The Midnight Visitor proves that some forms of dedication to healing others transcend the boundaries between life and death, creating legacies of care that continue to touch lives long after the caregiver is gone. In a world where healthcare often feels impersonal and technology-driven, Dr. Williams's story offers hope that the most essential element of healing, genuine compassion for suffering people, remains as powerful as ever. His legacy reminds us that the best physicians don't just treat diseases, they heal people. And sometimes, that healing presence becomes so strong that it continues to provide comfort and hope long after the healer has moved beyond the physical world, proving that love and dedication to others can create forms of immortality that no medical technology can match.